Hello, pretties. Welcome to Zero. Welcome to Vivsterville. I cannot talk today. Yes. So welcome to day 5 of Eyeshadow Palette Week. Yeah. So I mentioned this in my video from yesterday, which I'm filming today. I'm like back to back. The lighting's gonna be weird. There's been no sun here in Austin, Texas, in like 4 days. So sorry. If I knew that this was gonna happen, I might have planned something else. I don't know. And I also mentioned in my last video that I kind of want to do something a little bit different for next time I do a palette week. I do kind of want to do it again, but I just feel like I'm not quite. I know it's a bit repetitive. So anyway, palette week was inspired by It's Just Stuff and Lauren May Beauty, which I forgot to mention in my last video, but I will leave them down below in the last video and in this video. So I'm gonna leave them down below. They do palette week pretty consistently, but I'm gonna try to switch it up. I'm gonna try to switch it up next time, so expect that. Expect that. Anyway, but this is kind of a continuation of that video that I just posted yesterday, which is I posted palettes, if I would repurchase my eyeshadow collection, which we came to 33%. 33% of my eyeshadow collection is what I would actually repurchase. It's low. It's really low considering. So that's something to think about. So this idea has been going around for a lot. The original tag is if I could only keep 10, right? If I could only keep 10 of my eyeshadows. But considering I have 21 eyeshadow palettes, I feel like 10 is a really large number. It's essentially 50% of my collection that I'm keeping. And I feel like that's too large. I did see Sarah Rose, so I'm gonna leave her down below, do a similar style, but instead of doing 10, she did top 5. So, that's what we're doing. We're gonna do if I could only keep 5. So what I decided to do is I can only pick 5, obviously, from the palettes that I would repurchase, because duh, right? I don't think there's anything anyway in this pile of palettes that I wouldn't repurchase that I would. If I could only keep 5, I would keep one of them. The only one that I could even think about would be the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, but I really want to stay away from Morphe as their cruelty-free status is questionable, along with their business practices. So let's just say that. Now, I know for a fact there's 2 palettes that if I could only keep 5, I will have. No question here. ColourPop So Jaded palette. I think if I could only keep 5, this gives me a really good mixture of neutrals and colors where I wouldn't feel restricted. Honestly, if I could only keep one palette, I would probably keep this one. Again, because it has those half neutrals, half colors, but it has a lot of different kind of shades of colors, so I don't think I could ever be bored of this palette. There's just a lot going on. I really did wish that these 2 weren't in here, but nothing I can do about that. Regardless, I do enjoy the palette a lot. Like a lot. So, yes, for sure. Now, oh man, kind of scratched it a little. The other one would be the Laura Santos Nudie Patootie, and I just don't have anything quite like it in my collection. Yes, it's a boring neutral palette. Yes, it is. But the undertones remind me a lot of the Going Coconuts palette from ColourPop, which is one of the reasons why I didn't pick it up. They're not obviously shade for shade dupes, but I just feel like it's very neutral versus warm neutral or cool neutral. This brown actually can be slightly cool, to be honest, and this one can be slightly warm, but overall it's just a very neutral palette. And I think you have like those silver shades right here, you have more bronzy shades. This one's kind of like this one's interesting, but it's like a bronzy shimmer, like dark brown shimmer. And then you have Daybird. I know in the screen it looks pink, but when I look at it from the side, it looks really bronze, so it's like throwing me off. But it is that duochrome, as they're both very duochrome. So I do like that a lot. Then you have the little strip and bears. You can really make something very, very pink with that rose gold right here, or you can make it more yellow with like all natural and strip. So you can just go either way, and I really, really enjoy this palette for that. And I just, like I said, I don't have anything quite like that in my collection. I really thought that I was going to go with Persona for sure, but I don't know yet. Actually, the palette that I know for a fact, if I can only keep 5, I would repurchase is Give It To Me Straight by ColourPop. This, like the Nudie Patootie, has a little bit of everything neutral wise. It has warm neutrals, like real warm, like roasty oranges. You know, you have this softer one, and you have like this, you know, more burnt orange shade. Then you have these mauve shades right here, which I think are really necessary. Then you have more neutral browns, which is these 2 right here. And then you have every shade of like neutral shimmer you can think of. And some of these shimmers I just don't have in the Nudie Patootie or in the So Jaded palette. And I do think that's why I need them. Except for like straight up and upfront. Upfront, I think that's a relatively easy shade to like mimic. These right here I just don't have in these 2 palettes. There's other 4 right here. So yeah, those. Okay, I'm stop. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay. So that's 3. If I could only keep 5, would I keep the Cute AF? Huh. Okay. I am making decisions I didn't think I would make. I would not keep the Cute AF palette, but if I could only keep 5, I actually would pick the Raw Beauty Christie palette. This is a palette that just like sneaked up on me in the repurchase video, because I really thought I was gonna say no, but yes, I would repurchase it. And if I could only keep 5, I would keep this one. I think because it has those brighter color tones that I didn't have before. So I just feel like it has just those brighter tones that I don't quite have, a different kind of vibrancy. I don't have anything quite this neon in the So Jaded palette because it's more neutral, some more jewel tones, you know. And it would give me those yellows that I love to play with. And it would give me 2 different kinds of yellows and a lot of different shades of neutrals, because they're more yellow browns. This is a more cool brown. This is more orangey brown. So it gives me a lot of variety that I didn't quite know I was missing. Okay, shit. Oh, this is hard, because these are my last 2 palettes. Damn it. I think I made a mistake somewhere along here. Okay, maybe I should have thought this through before I made this video. I never like think about my answers before I come here and do it. I just always do it on camera, and it came back and bit me in the butt, because I don't know. This is hard. Can I make this if I could only keep 6? No. We're gonna make this happen. Okay. This is hard because I feel like they're both somewhat dupable within these 4 palettes that I chose here. I think the first 4 that I picked give me variety that otherwise I wouldn't have. So this one gives me more like colorful, looks. This one gives me a different range of neutrals. This one gives me a more neutral look. This gives me a range of colors and neutrals. However, these 2 palettes would definitely be like, these are dupable, I feel like, within those 4 palettes. So neither of them are completely necessary. Now, the Formula Persona, I don't know that I could live without. That's what's holding me back here. If it wasn't because of the formula, I think I could live without it. Because I do think it's somewhat dupable to the So Jaded. Because you have, for example, Period. Now, Period does have a more green undertone, but at the end of the day, it's very golden, similar to this one right here, which is unique. And then you have Driven, which is very similar to Emerald. Now, the Kathleen Lights palette does not have a black limit. You have Limitless right here, so there is that. However, do I need a matte black? Do I need it? You have like different shades of like nudes. These three right here, I do think those are in here as well. You have two different like purpley shades that I don't think are in here, but there are other kinds of shades of purple in here. I know this one is somewhat similar to the one in the Give It To Me Straight palette. So again, if it wasn't for the formula, okay. And then the other one would be At First Sight, which is, again, somewhat duplicable from the So Jaded palette. You have Fiddlehead, which is similar to Jade right here, because that olive green kind of shade. You have Amanita, which is like a wine kind of shade. And then you have Granite right here, which looks a little more reddish in here. Actually, you have Chanterelle, and then you have Citrine over here. Oh no, I need to be more careful. Okay, you have Puffball and you have Geodude. Again, and this one is the exact same formula, so I can't even, because they're both ColourPop. I don't know. This one's really hard. Give me a minute, guys. I'm gonna be back. Okay, guys, I am back. I know it's only been like a couple seconds for you guys, but I've been off camera for like 20 minutes making up my mind. Oh my goodness, I did not think that was gonna happen, but I've made up my mind. I actually am going to take out the Pure X Raw Beauty Christie palette off the top 5 of the, if I'm gonna keep 5 palettes, and instead put the Raw Beauty Christie X ColourPop and keep my Persona. If I didn't absolutely love the Persona formula and knew how well it performed, I probably would do without it and keep the Pure Extra Beauty, because I do think it brings a certain kind of variety that I wouldn't have otherwise. However, I cannot live without this formula. This formula is something this is, in my mind, what I would think a Natasha Denona formula would be like. Even though I've never tried it and I've never heard any kind of comparisons, but it is the best formula I have. By far, out of all my eyeshadow palettes, this is the best formula I own. I couldn't be without it. I just couldn't. It's such a good formula, and although all of these shades are dupeable within the palettes I had chosen, I'm happy with my decision. Okay, and then the reason why I wanted the Pure X Beauty Christie is surprisingly for the palette, the side of the palette that I don't quite particularly love, which is the Color First shades, which is, like I said, it's not quite my cup of tea. However, in this scenario, I wouldn't have anything quite like it. And although this would be somewhat dupeable within this same collection, I wouldn't have anything quite like it. But these are exactly the tones that I would go for. Because if I had to pick within something more grungy but muted versus, bright and somewhat neon, I would go for this more. And I just have to be realistic. This is maybe that one day I will want to play with, neon pink, I would reach into this one palette. But and I had my moments before with neon pink, but I didn't have any neon moments in 2020. It just wasn't it. I usually feel like playing with neons in the summertime, and like the late spring, summertime. That's when I feel like playing with neons, and it didn't happen in 2020. My preferences have changed. I am getting a little bit older. I'm not old. I'm 27 years old, but I'm getting a little older. It's not cute anymore to have just and there's some people that can pull it off, but it's just not my aesthetic. And so I just have to be realistic. And I really, really, really like those like yellowy shades, but I have to be honest, there is some of that, a little bit of yellowness right here, and that Mood Point shade is somewhat similar to this Old Growth shade, which is Mood Point is really unique in my collection. And although they're not quite similar, I can get a somewhat similar effect. And I just, like I said, this is just more my aesthetic, and I just have to be honest with myself. This is not. So anyway, if I could only keep 5 palettes, these are the ones that I would keep. At First Sight from ColourPop X Raw Beauty Christie, Persona Identity 2, ColourPop Give It To Me Straight, Laura Los Angeles Nitty Patootie, and ColourPop So Jaded. and I am happy. If I could only keep 5 eyeshadow palettes out of my entire collection, this is the 5 that I would keep. Anyway, thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow for another one. Bye, guys!